scenario you're talking about, it just keeps people interested and committed to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think with women, I think that we forget that we aren't put here on the planet, whatever you believe in, for just being a mum or just being a wife or just being a worker bee. You know, you've got all those dynamics going on constantly all the time, and it's just going to evolve. But we can forget at times that because we're probably a little bit more emotional on our feminine side and we need a little bit more emotional fulfillment, it's got to be filled with something, and that can be, you know, doing a course, doing extra study or progressing, or just really just being part of a group that wants to look after each other as well. I think we forget that we need that. We need it. It's not, you know, like for many years, I think we've got to the stage where it's like, well, you're just emotional. And women say it to each other. And it's like, yeah, but enjoy it. Be
Like
emotional, because that's what makes you, yeah.
You know, yeah, you're too emotional. You're emotional.
Yeah.
It's got so many negative connotations, hasn't it? But we've all got
but emotions, it's passion, no emotion, isn't it? Ultimately.
Yeah. And why
if you get emotional, why deny them? Well, last show, that's exactly what it is. It's like embrace it and go, we're going to get more done. When a woman gets emotional about something, watch them fly, you know, because they're literally, I'm on it, you know, or not on it. You know, it depends on which way, if you've made them happy or sad. But you see a woman who's got emotional, they're on it, or they're, you know, or you're out. Sort of thing.
Driving it. Well, there's something
we all are, aren't we?
That reminded me of emotional intelligence. You know, it's not just about being intelligent as in I've read all this stuff, I'm intelligent. But there's this thing called emotional intelligence, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know, and that's not denying that you've got emotions. That's just being aware of them and using them to the best effect, like you're just saying. Right, what? You know, I'm emotional now. It's made me make that decision. You can get out of my life, or I'm going to go and make this change.
Yeah,
why
it is.
Pretend they don't exist? And there's so many times, isn't there? We've been told not to have emotions, not to be emotional. When we're emotional, or we're emotional now.
Yeah,
what emotions
we are
feeling now. You know.
Yeah, but you know that it feels good though, doesn't it? It's when you're in tapped with your emotional intelligence, and everybody else is in the room when they're tapped into your emotional and everybody's tapped into the emotion. The buzz, more action gets done, and the buzz in the company. I mean, I've worked for a couple of companies that definitely have toxic environment. It's because simply, as what you said, they weren't tapped into the emotional intelligence side of things. It was nothing to do with pay, and it was nothing to do with the working conditions. It was because they wasn't treated with respect. And you know, all it would have took was hello in the morning off the superior, the owner of the company. It would have just taken, hi, how are you? So and so and so. And that's all it would took. That respect shown. Thank you very much for coming into work, and how are you doing today and all that. So I threw a ball once at the owner, and it was, you know, those juggling balls. And I had a little bit of a funny way of, if I was a little bit peeved with a member of staff and they were looked a bit mardy, I'd just get one of my juggling balls and I'd just throw it across the room. Obviously, I got into my 30s by then, so I got a little bit more courageous. But they would turn around and look at me and was like, what are you doing? You're going to get done. I'm like, well, I'm going to get done like I'm being at school. But it changed the whole atmosphere of the office. It was like then we all had juggling balls, and every now and again we'd be throwing them. This one day I threw it at the owner as he comes through, walking through the door. Everybody just looked at me like I'm the naughty kid in the classroom. You know, it's like, what's she doing? But he laughed. He picked it up and he threw it straight back, and it broke the ice. It was like, right, the us and thems disappeared, at least for this moment. If we continue having a bit of fun and that we're working hard at the same time, it kind of broke the ice, because he wanted fun too. He's a human being. He wanted the fun. And just having that little bit of playfulness in the using your emotional intelligence at the time, because obviously I think I must have guessed if it was going to go right or wrong. The risk taker was like, I think I'm all right on this one. Let's go for it. let's throw the ball and have a bit of fun. And everybody was like, they swapped their ideas of what it's like to be a member of staff by, well, that's higher than me, so I'm not allowed to speak to them as a human being and vice versa. So by being a little bit naughty, mischievous, it created a giggle. So it stopped a little bit of toxicity at the time. Not entirely forever, but it was fun at the same time. I loved it, actually. You're like, do it again.
Yeah. Just by doing that act, you just changed the mood, the energy, the everything, didn't you? In just one act, throwing a ball. Amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. And it didn't hurt anybody, and it made people giggle. And also worry, their emotional intelligence was sort of probably sparking, thinking she's going to get done. She's going to get so done. And I'm coming from a background of being never naughty at school and never naughty in the classroom. But again, it was a little bit of mischievous energy that I wanted to create to see whether or not, because it would have been very ballsy of that man at that point in time to not giggle. If he had gone stern, it would have really lowered his credibility within the workforce too, as an owner.
Yeah.
So he had to tap into his emotional intelligence, I believe, at that point in time. I've got no proof or evidence, but he had to tap in thinking, right, I've got a crowd here watching. If I don't react to it positively, then they're going to not like me even more. So productivity starts to dip as well, doesn't it? But actually, because he laughed, productivity went up because we had a giggle about it, so it's like, he clicked in at the right moment. Got to give it to him on that one.
You may have done him a favour, because he may have not have had a clue of how to break the ice. He probably knew what was going on and felt it himself, but just didn't know how to do it. To break through that us and them barrier, isn't it, almost sometimes?
And I think it's learned. I think we learned that if you are management or anything, female as well, we've all done it, where you have to learn to get your own gear rather than you watch other people from the past, females and males, and you watch how they've instructed people and all that, and you either go one way or the other. I had a manager who was very carrot and stick, very stern. In fact, he made me cry for 9 years. It was awful, but he taught me a lot. He was very, very good for teaching me how to do business, but he upset me every single day. I never felt enough. But again, he taught me a lot, because it was what not to be as well. I wouldn't want to copy his methodology on managerial skills, for example, where I think women have trouble, because if we do kick into that masculine authoritarian role at sometimes, it's like, who does she think she is? Where we've got to do it sometimes. We've got to kick into that gear of, you need to be told off. Just like we do with our children, you need to be told off. Where it can go, ooh, who does she think she is? Frustrating.
Yeah.
But it changes a little bit, and I don't know when, but it'll change a little bit, hopefully, over the few years that we will see in the next 100 years, maybe. Shall we give it, Jo?
Yeah,